My Lords, it's a great pleasure to follow the noble Lady Baroness Drake and to note her telling comparison with the German example of spending 3 decades ago, starting from a place of far less division than we saw in England. I also like to join others in welcoming the noble Viscount Stangate to your Lordship's house. It's lovely to see another champion of science in the house, and I particularly note the noble Viscount's background in biology, which far too often is a very neglected area of science, when shinier, glossier things get more attention. Now, I want to thank the noble Lord Liddell for securing this debate, and I particularly want to thank him for not using the terms levelling up within the way in which it's set out, because I believe that levelling up is entirely the wrong direction of travel, the wrong aim to be looking at. That implies that we're trying to lift other parts of England up to the level of London and the South East. And what have we got? The Right Reverend Prelate made some reference to this in terms of child poverty, but we have a London of rampant inequality with 28% of people living in poverty. We have filthy air and horrible standard of overcrowded housing. We have the area of the country with the highest proportion of the population with high levels of anxiety. What we need to do, and I think the noble Lord Liddell sets out in the points here, we need a coherent, cost-effective and long-term approach, which means, I would suggest, what we need to spread out around the country is security, health and hope. And those are lacking in every part of England and indeed the UK. And I want to stress particularly that economic growth is often seen as the solution. We just have the economic growth. But actually, what we're talking about is a real rearrangement of society. And we're not just talking about improved infrastructure, much as that is needed. And I would add, not putting the wrong infrastructure in the wrong place. However, I won't get into our regular debate that the noble Lord Adonis and I do on the subject of HS2. What we're talking about, and many noble lords have made this point, including the noble Lord Young of Cookham, not currently in his place, that what we need is local control, local power, and as many noble lords have said, local resources. Now, I would disagree with the noble Lord Liddell that elected mayors are the answer. Putting all of the power, the authority in the hands of one person is, I would suggest, the wrong direction of travel. What we should be looking towards is full community involvement, from a Yorkshire Parliament to a Cornwall Assembly or Parliament, to different kinds of structures with far more power and resources shared around an entire region. But giving the money, ensuring the money is in those regions, in the control of those regions, is absolutely crucial. As many have said, we have to stop Whitehall doling out money. And what we also have to do is stop the doling out of money for pilot projects. We've got to try this, we've got to fund this for a year, and then the money disappears. And even if it's been the most successful pilot ever recorded, that just sinks without trace. We need long-term secure funding that's available to allow the growth and development of communities. So I said that economic growth and infrastructure won't give us anything like what we need. We need to think about a focus on health and well-being. Now, the noble Lord Liddell said we have to find ways to keep people out of hospital. I'll agree with that as a starting point, but much more, we need to ensure that people have healthy, active lives. And that means everything from tackling food deserts to cleaning up air, water pollution. It means ensuring there are genuinely affordable, energy-efficient, high-quality homes. It means walking and cycling facilities, high-quality parks. It means restoration of the natural environment. All of these things are much broader and won't be solved just by looking at the economy. And it also is about community structures. So many new developments are built without any community facilities at all, places of people to get together, halls or churches, and many older communities, cash-strapped local councils, and I should perhaps declare here my position as Vice President of the LGA and NALC. Cash-strapped councils have been forced to sell off community facilities. Many places, even the pubs where people could get together, have closed down. Some poorer communities, the pubs are only open a couple of nights a week. What we need is an increase in social capital. This is an acute shortage in far too many communities in England.
My Lord, I've lived between